In a year that gave us a multiverse of madness and everything everywhere all at once, the Halloween franchise continues to be the king of complicated continuity. Hello, I'm High Heel Knight. This is my review of Halloween Ends. It's the third movie of the third reboot continuity timeline of the Halloween franchise, whatever. Actually, this is going to be a rant because I was so pissed off by this movie.
Flames on the side of my face, heaving breaths.
On my channel, I used to review movies all the time, but it just has become logistically difficult for me to keep up with the pace that I had when I first started. So I pick and choose the movies that I want to review. There are some films during the year, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to review that one. I'm going to review that one. I'm really excited about that. Halloween Ends was one of the movies I was truly looking forward to, and it was going to be part of my Halloween, edition special that I like to do with my reviews. This was the final performance of the Bill and Ted Halloween show at Halloween Horror Nights. I got a nice little, jack-o'-lantern type cap. I'm ready for this Halloween edition. And I put off seeing some other horror movies, like Smiles out there right now. That's getting a lot of good stuff. There's a new movie called Pray for the Devil. That's getting some good stuff. I haven't even watched Hocus Pocus 2. This is going to be my Halloween treat. And oh my goodness, I don't know how entertaining this is going to be. I don't know how coherent this is going to be. I don't know how much editing I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to just burst out into a whole lot of bad language. I'm just going to run my mouth and hopefully it will make sense.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Let me just start off with the fact that this movie was released in theaters and on Peacock. Now, I wanted to get to the theater to see it first because, again, I was excited for this movie. There are some movies that, even though they get released sometimes on streaming, I want to get out to the theater to see it. And for whatever reason, there was various things that delayed me from getting out to go see the movie, so I wound up seeing it at home on Peacock. And I already have Peacock because I watched WWE, so it was no additional cost to me. And thank goodness, because if I actually went out to the theater, if I had spent so much as one dime on gas to get to the theater, I might have exploded by the time the movie was over. I cannot recommend this movie at all, not as a Halloween fan, not as a movie fan. The failure of this movie is inexcusable. If you enjoyed this movie, if you genuinely enjoyed this movie, please let me know in the comment section. Please let me know that you enjoyed it, and please let me know why. I can't fathom anyone that's remotely a fan of this franchise, let alone slasher films, would go out of this movie happy, even though I do know some people that, everyone has different tastes. Grace Randolph, I think she liked the movie very much, but she wasn't really a fan of the franchise anyway. So maybe that's it. Maybe if you're not a fan of this franchise, you maybe enjoy this movie. But if you're a fan of this franchise and you somehow enjoy this movie, please let me know. But let me start off with the good stuff. The opening sequence, like the cold open, the stuff that happens before the title sequence and the title sequence itself, that's all awesome. That's perfect. That is wonderful. That's top notch. That went in a direction I didn't expect. That was catching. That was wonderful. And the end of the movie where they say, yes, Michael Myers is dead. No coming back. No mistakes. No incorrect identities. The guy is dead, gone, done. That's the only good things about this movie. The way it opens and the fact that they definitively say, no, Michael Myers is gone until the franchise gets rebooted again. So those are the only significant two things that are good about this movie as far as I'm concerned. But the rest, it's inexcusable why this movie is the way it is. And the reason why I say it's inexcusable because it's a 40-year franchise. And it knows what fans don't want. It was doing the whole reboot, requel, timeline changing, ignoring the past, adjusting the future thing before everybody else. It was changing things around constantly. Plus, we're living in a post-Star Wars Last Jedi and Marvel's Avengers Endgame world. Last Jedi polarized the franchise. Whether you like the movie, whether you hate the movie, whether you're indifferent about the movie, the franchise is still rebuilding from that one movie At least with that movie, there was still another movie to come along to hopefully salvage some of these if necessary. It was ridiculous to take that kind of big risk, but at least it was a risk with still some room to grow. But with Halloween Ends, there's no room for risk. There's no room for gambling. There's no room for trying to shake things up. Right, this is the end. This is the finish. This is done. This is something leading 40 years in the making. So you need to stick the landing, which is where Avengers Endgame comes in. Over 10 years building to this grand climax of these characters and these storylines and these personalities and these events coming together for one big finale, and it stuck the landing. So with Halloween, you have now 3 movies in your own franchise, each called Halloween. You gotta refer to them by date. But anyway, Halloween 2018, that is excellent. That, bringing back the characters and all that kind of stuff. And it was a wonderful film. And then Halloween Kills came along, and okay, it had its problems, but at least it delivered on the marketing that the townspeople and the former victims were going to try to take down Michael Myers. But oh my goodness, this movie Halloween is 40 plus years building to the final confrontation between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. That's the movie. That is what everyone is coming to see. And what's the movie about? It's a tragic romance fairy tale.
Tell me, he didn't just say that.
90% of this movie is a tragic romance fairy tale involving Laurie Strode's granddaughter and some totally new character named Corey. What the fuck? And I rarely curse on my channel, so that tells you how pissed off I am. I sat through that movie feeling like Milhouse. What the fuck am I watching? And the reason I call it a fairy tale, because things happen, people look in the eye. As soon as they see each other, they fall for each other. And that happens all the time in fairy tales. As soon as you look into their eyes, it's instant falling in love. I'm like,
I don't care.
who goes to a slasher movie to see romance? Unless it's about vampires. Vampires have the corner market when it comes to romance and horror. Dracula, Twilight, The Invitation movie. Vampires, they got the romance theme. Everybody else, no one wants romance. No one's going to these slasher movies, especially not the Halloween franchise, for romance. Relationships, sure. Romance, tragedy, falling in love, no!
No romance, no romance, no romance for me.
This story is being marketed as the ultimate final confrontation between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, but it winds up being 90% this tragic love story. There was potentially, one of the reasons why they did is because with Halloween 3 being drastically different from the previous 2 movies, someone was like, well, let's do something that no one expects for this movie. And it's like, no, you don't experiment on your last movie. You bring things together, you've been building up, and now it's time to stick the landing.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
And if you were going to do something like this, which I doubt was planned ahead of time, you would do it with characters you've already introduced. This relationship would have started in the previous movie or in the 2018 movie. You don't just introduce a new character out of the blue and this guy is going nuts. And we don't understand why he's going nuts, because again, he looked into Michael Myers' eyes, so I don't know if Michael Myers is possessing him, or maybe it unlocks some type of psychosis into the guy.
I don't fully understand how it happened. Perhaps some part of you imprinted onto me, something overwritten or copied.
This guy, Corey, who accidentally killed somebody, now is coming against the next super slasher who can wrestle down Michael Myers. I don't know if Michael Myers is weaker because he's just old and is finally catching up with him. I don't know, because he's living in the sewer for the past 4 years, wearing that mask, and that was like his health is deteriorating. I don't know.
I don't know!
Michael Myers. He's been just hiding in the sewer for the past 4 years, minding his own business. So much for always wanting to go out to Laurie Strode, so much for wanting to finish what he started with Laurie Strode. He doesn't really care. It's been building up to them facing each other. So there are moments in the movie of Halloween Ends where Michael sees Laurie Strode. He has he's got a straight sight to him, and he's like, oh, well, it's technically not Halloween. I guess I can't kill her tonight. She's right there. Do you care about her or not?
I don't know!
With this continuity, this timeline, we're saying that Laurie Strode was so traumatized by her experience with Michael Myers from the very first two movies that she spent 40 years or so training, obsessing, preparing, waiting for the opportunity to finally kill Michael Myers. And in this movie, she's just trying to live a normal life. 40 years of obsessing, 40 years of preparing, 40 years of waiting for the boogeyman to kill the boogeyman. She fails to do that. The boogeyman kills her daughter, and it's like,
nah, it'll be fine.
And then there's a moment where she's like trying to hook up encourage the granddaughter to start dating. It's like, you need a guy that makes you want to rip your tits out. Well, how does she go from, I'm worried about Michael Myers, you gotta have locks on your doors, you gotta have guns, to, woo! Oh my goodness. There actually is a small good idea here. After Michael's rampage and he disappears, the townsfolk start blaming Laurie Strode, thinking that her obsession goaded Michael Myers to come into the town and creating his rampage. So they blame Laurie Strode for what happened even more than Michael's. That's an interesting idea, that how her obsession potentially ruined the town. But that idea goes nowhere. I just know this is not what I came to see, and it's not what's being marketed. If you watch the trailers, the granddaughter is either not in the trailers or blinking you miss it in the trailers. It's all about Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and yet that doesn't happen till the very end of the movie when it's like, oh yeah, I guess we better bring Michael Myers and Laurie Strode into this. That is what it's going to be about. That's actually what this movie about, right? This is what we've been, oh my goodness. So Corey, he's a young adult, and he winds up getting teased and bullied by high school band.
What?
Now, band people are, they're athletic. If you watch Drumline, you can find out those folks are athletic. But still, this is a grown man getting bullied by a bunch of high school guys that are smaller than him. Two of them are girls, so they don't really want to get physical. So really just two guys, a girl that's just being comments and one that's just kind of shy. Why are you letting yourself getting pushed around by this guy? And I don't understand why they would antagonize someone that thinks murdered a kid. Why would you antagonize someone that you believe viciously murdered a kid? I can't even imagine Biff Tannen or any other Tannen family, but a bunch of high schoolers trying to antagonize some guy that killed a kid? Why would you do that?
I don't know!
And then, we start sympathetic because he's just trying to live his life. Then he encounters Michael Myers and he gets possessed, ? And then he starts slowly going on a rampage. And the victims, half of his victims shouldn't even be victims, because this just shows how pathetic of a guy he's become. Oh, you're going to kill a DJ because he said some mean words to you. You're going to kill the doctor who said something mean to your girlfriend, who wasn't really your girlfriend at the time. Of course, you're going to kill the pathetic teenagers. And then there's Corey's mom, and I can't tell if Corey's mom is in love with him, or just obsessive, or just plain crazy. What is going on? What is going on with this movie?
Give me what I want!
I wonder if this movie had a certain script, they filmed things, then someone came along, they reshoot things, then someone came along, they reshoot things, and now they're just mix and matching scenes instead of being something that's coherent. But whatever the case, the movie's not as advertised. And when you don't deliver on what's advertised,
your chances of winning drastically go down!
I hate this movie. If it weren't for that opening and the definitive statement that yes, Michael Myers is dead, this would be an absolute failure. And as a franchise that's been around for 40 years, that has done reboots and has done script changes, and it has done continuity changes, and has done callbacks, there is absolutely no excuse for this atrocity. Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. Fuck the people that thought this was a good idea. Fuck the people that did the bait and switch on the marketing.
Hey, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Because this is not about the ultimate confrontation between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. This is about a romance between a character that we're just being introduced who might be crazy, or might be sympathetic, or might be tragic, or might be love obsessed, or might be lonely, and it's like, fuck this movie. Fuck all of it. Halloween ends with a flaccid D grade. That was my rant. Thank you for watching if you've watched all the way. Hopefully my next video will be much more chipper. Find inspiration everywhere. Happy Halloween.